Hello, and welcome to the DM's Book Club, a weekly book club podcast where we talk about some Dungeons & Dragons, sometimes, and how we might include it and improve it for all of our role-playing campaigns. Yes, remember the tagline this time. Hello, and welcome back to this, our world-building series. My name is Fiona, again, alone in the Zoom room. Hope everyone is doing well in this festive void. Doing all right myself, just at the time of recording, just been producing some actual play stuff, which I think has done all right. And it is currently a Friday afternoon where I am, and got some wine. And I thought, why not get on with doing these prompts? So just to recap, we are doing some world-building prompts from the Ultimate RPG World-Building deck by James D'Amato. And so far we've done 3. We have done, if I go get my notes, where are my notes for this? There they are. We've done 2 places. We've done a battlefield, a place to eat, which we've called Archibalds, and a union, which I believe we called the Harvesters. Again, all these things to be workshopped another day. This is the thing, right? I always worry about, I think I've said this before on this show. I'm really bad at, naming things. I make stuff first and name it later. Some people have great creative instincts and can just, boom, done, I've got this name. I'm terrible at that. Really bad. Like I've said before, I often look around the room, and I'm very lucky that I'm a maximalist and have quite a lot of stuff around me that I could that's a cool name here. I also have lots of posters near me of shows that either I've been in or helped with or something like that, and there's always names on that list, and I go, I'll just smash these 2 names together and nobody will know. But I'll get caught out one day when I realise I've run out of posters to look at. Anyway, on with today's episode and the 3 prompts I've drawn. So I've taken the next 3 prompts, and we have 1 people's card, prompt, people card, and then we've got 2 history cards in that order. So we'll just go straight into it, I think. Like I said, I did shuffle them beforehand, but this is just the way it's ended up. And I can already see coming up, we might have a few blocks of this next episode is going to have so much sewing, etc. But like I said, we're going to go on. And so the whole point of this is to help stimulate some creativity. All these prompts I have to match with what we've done before, so we're just, yes-anding, building upon that. And also, James D'Amato is an improviser, so you can see all the influences there in general. Anyway, let's start with people as our first prompt. So I've turned it over. Again, this nice kind of, ooh. So it says, a schemer. Choose 2 things the schemer does to further their agenda, and 1 thing their pride does not allow them to do. Interesting. So I'll read out the options. So again, with all these prompts, we get a multi-choice list, and then we have 4 questions afterwards to sort of expand upon. And normally, as it's sort of said when we did the setup, if you're by yourself, you answer it by yourself, but often you would ask around the table, go to answers and build upon there with your players. I still think, why is it 4? I guess, presumably market research has declared that 4 is the number of players most people have. I think that's wrong. I think the perfect number of players is 3 plus a GM. But maybe the GM also has a question they have to answer as well. I don't know. I'm just there going, And also, because there's a thing about odd numbers and odd options, I find. It's something to do with marketing. It's something to do here's 3 facts you didn't know, or 7 wondrous things you won't believe, number 3, that kind of vibe. So instantly I'm like, there's 4, and there's 6 options as well. You should need another option, or 1 less. Anyway, 2 things a schemer does to further their agenda, and 1 thing their pride does not allow them to do. So we have for our options, suffers pain and humiliation to be close to the people in power. Ooh. Constantly devises new strategies and ambitions, flatters some and insults or intimidates others, keeps their agenda secret, appears less capable than they are, enforces unfavourable hierarchies. Interesting. Well, I mean, as soon as I think schema, I have to think, and this is very, very egotistical of me, but I did play a schema-type character in my wonderful friend of the show's podcast side character Quest by Ty. I played Syrah Duststone. So I'm just gonna make Syrah Duststone here and make it easier for me. Now, again, not to spoil side character quest at all, but Cira Duststone was the second youngest of a big family of basically a hierarchy, a very powerful family that had access to a resource. In our case, it was hunting hounds that would be sent out or rented out to families to protect their lands or help with the harvest, all that sort of vibe. And Cira would potter along afterwards and like just do really dodgy deals and basically threaten them in some way. So I feel like one thing definitely is going to be flatter some and insults or intimidates others as one of the things I do to further my own agenda. And then, probably constantly devises new strategies and ambitions. Because Cira had his own secret agenda to that of what his family was aiming towards. And then one thing their pride won't allow them to do, I guess, keep their agenda secret. I guess that does kind of work. I think easily, again, from the character I played, I appreciate this is probably inaccessible to those people who've not listened to the show, but easily, something that their pride would not allow was to appear less incapable than they are, because that came up quite a bit in the story that we created together. Obviously, this is a character that I played in a different podcast, but easily you can always bring these characters in, anyone you've played in, as a NPC to your world, and obviously we can change stuff about them to make it fit. And so this will probably happen with the questions. So the first question we have is, what interest or vice do they have that makes them pliable? Now, I know what it is in side character quest, but when I think of vice, I'm just looking at my wine glass here, I think of wine. And wine did come up in the side quest. So I think their vice is a good quality wine that makes them viable. Like, you could have wine merchants come, and maybe that's how they're bribed, is through good quality wine. And actually, having wine as well, like buying cases of wine, is a business. So maybe this person, the schemer, or the Cira Duststone equivalent, is somebody that controls a lot of wine. And we'll say having your wine and cheese party, don't tempt me. That's my ideal evening. How do they flaunt wealth or status? Again, going back what I remember, Duststone is a very famous name in the world of side character quest. So I wonder if maybe it's something to do with the name. Maybe, easily the thing goes to is, you've got a family crest or badge that's on your outfits, or a seal of some sort. Maybe it is a medallion necklace. I'm thinking very much a gaudy mayoral chain that has the Duststone crest on it, and it's just filled with jewels and stuff like that. None of the other family members have one, but Cira does. I think that's quite fun. It's like have a big chain about them. So they look like, I guess, because again, in the story that we told, Cira was the sort of person that was the administration and was like the face of the company when you dealt with new business deals. But I like the idea that, and they've got lots of rings. Yeah, lots of rings. Maybe earrings as well, ear cuffs, I could imagine. Yeah, absolutely. So it's jewellery, but the focal point is this massive, bejeweled chain that goes around the shoulders and down the chest with the seal of the Duststones in it. I don't know what the crest would be, by the way. We'd never really discussed it, so I'm going to leave that up again just to a detail later on, that if we were going to make this, we'd figure out, there'll have to be some sort of family motto as well, something in Latin or the equivalent in the fantasy language. Yeah, just actually thinking about it, I don't know if the US or other countries have this idea of a mayoral chain. Maybe that's just something really, really British. But I can visualize it now, the mayor having these big robes, these red robes, and this big chain and a big hat. I think it must be just a UK thing now that I think about it. But imagine the big chain, but without any of the other stuff on it. Question number 3. What small thing do they control absolutely? How do they make it worse? Now, again, in side character quest. It was hounds. Do we want to change this for here? It's some sort of resource, right? It's got to be something small, so it can't be like a building material or water. Oh, you know what it is? It's going to have to be some sort of thoroughfare. Maybe it is like a street or a canal, like pathway. Like if you're going down a canal, one of the waterways. There you go, waterways. I bet Cirra Duststone, this version of Cirra's Duststone, controls a route that is the most convenient for you to use if you try to get to somewhere important, like a market space or the town hall or something like that. And he closes it off at busy times, or you have to pay a toll. There you go. Oh, it's a bridge. It must be a bridge, a Duststone bridge. Maybe that's what we are. We are, in this fantasy world, we are infrastructure. We help with building infrastructure, and we are, what's the word? We specialise in building bridges, and one particular bridge is my bridge, Cirra's bridge, and there's tolls on it, and he controls how expensive those tolls are, whether they're shut, the bridge is shut completely, or if it's open to let boats through. Like, it controls how it is used. Oh, I love that. I can actually visualise it. There was a place in Canary Wharf near where I used to live, and there's this bridge over the waterway. It's the weirdest sort of bridge, and on top of the bridge there was like flats or houses, but it was like an arc all the way through. Oh, next time I'm through, I'll have to take a picture of it because it's such an interesting space, and it had the ability to open to let like canal boats or just sailing boats through, but it was like a closed lock, so there was no reason for it. Maybe that's what it is. It's a slightly useless but also useful bridge as a pathway to somewhere important or regularly used walkway, but Cirra makes it worse by controlling the tolls on it and when and where it operates. So you could be stuck on one side of the river, right? When it's like, oh no, the bridge is about to shut and people are stuck on the other side of the river till morning because Cirra refuses people to cross over it after, say, 11 o'clock at night. Oh, brilliant. Because that's the thing, something like this, like, it should be obvious how to run it or work it, and I just like the idea that this guy, it's gone to his head, the power of his tiny, tiny bridge. Perfect. And then the final question is, what makes them distrustful of the NPCs? What makes them distrustful of the NPCs? Again, I don't have any NPCs. I wonder... I don't know. What would it be? Because it can't be like these PCs have already done like a big action to say keep the bridge open or something like that. Distrustful. Maybe it's as simple as they did not recognise the Duststone's crest when he was around. I think, like I said, this person is like very much like sort of like, I need to be on everyone's radar, and instantly he's like, you're not from around here. What are you doing here? Why are you here in this city, let's say, or even a small village or township? And so he knows everyone. He is distrustful of outsiders who just knew and therefore could threaten his power. That's how he sees it. A little bit paranoid in that sense. All right, so just to recap, we have the Cirra Duststone. Again, I don't know if we'd keep that name, but it's a helpful sort of thing. They are the schemer. Two things to further their agenda is they flatter some and insult and intimidate others, and constantly devising new strategies and ambitions. So again, it's that almost like Team Rocket style. They're constantly like, and it's all to do with infrastructure. It has to all do with like, I can even imagine roadworks, or even like something to do with like horses and stables. Like there's a routine horseshoe inspection that the Duststones have asked for a survey on, or something like that. Their pride won't allow them to do, they don't want to appear any less capable than they are. So rather than maybe being more subtle with their approach to things and maybe being a bit like, none the wiser, I can imagine them being like easily set off a short fuse, wishing to like show like rushing to action, right? Like not biding their time. I think that's the thing, that they're in action. That's what I would take from appear less capable. And in terms of their vice, we've sort of said buying and tasting wine makes them pliable. They flaunt their wealth through primarily jewellery, so like rings, earrings, this big chain that's bedecked with jewels and has the crest of the Duststone family on it. They control a busy bridge across this waterway in the town, and often they do so by, and how they make it worse, is increasing the tolls for folks he doesn't like, something about it, and also random hours of operation just to make it keep people on their toes, essentially. Finally, this person is distrustful of PCs, the player characters, because it's a small township. He knows everyone, and any outsider who doesn't know who he is, instantly it's a big blow to his ego that his own name has not got farther than this township, perhaps. But any sort of person who doesn't know him is instantly a threat to his influence and power. That was really good. I like that one a lot. Prompt number 2 is our first history prompt, and we have... Ooh, how interesting. A burial. Burial is the prompt. Now, I wonder, do we want to connect it to the battlefield, perhaps? I mean, it makes sense to. There was no bodies at the battlefield, though. Let me read it out. We'll work it out as we go. So, for the burial, choose 2 aspects of this burial that everyone knows and 1 that nobody knows. And again, we've got 6 options. Its exact location, the people who did the burying, the items entombed with the dead, the name of the deceased, how the deceased died, and the deceased's accomplishments. Okay, so maybe not with that battlefield then. Like, it feels very much Tomb of the Unknown Soldier kind of vibes from what I'm getting from this. What does my gut say? Well, I as much as it would be fun to say no one knows the exact location, I feel that's so... I don't know. I can't think of anything that would, like, prompt that necessarily. So I like the exact location. Everyone knows where it is. Maybe there's a monument there. Maybe there's a statue, something like that. Everyone also knows maybe the deceased's accomplishments, and then nobody knows the deceased's name, right? I think that's always quite fun, like an unnamed bard or sorcerer or knight of the realm, perhaps. That feels more fun and like something I can easily cling on to, perhaps. So the first of the 4 questions we have: why do people talk about this burial long after it took place? Great question. Maybe because it was well attended, because the person who was buried was infamous. I think it's easy to be like, oh, it's a hero, but maybe actually it was a villain or a big bad, perhaps. So why do people... Because this was like the vanquished final boss of the land nearby, and everyone turned out to make sure that the person was truly dead, is what I'm just thinking of there. Like, when I say villain, I'm not thinking like a murderer or anything like that. I'm thinking on the same level of like Ebenezer Scrooge, right? I know in the story of Ebenezer Scrooge, no one goes to the funeral, but maybe that's the sort of thing, is like, oh, everyone's heard of this person. I mean, he has a name. But I like the idea that there's someone that was so awful, so, like, societally not a nice person, that once they died, no one could believe it. No one could believe that. Like, they thought that person would live forever or something like that. So maybe it was like a wizard or some sort of alchemist or something. A miser is what I have in my head. And everyone's like, what? Oh, no. Really? Is it everyone queued up to see the body at the wake? Maybe that's what it is. What things do people seek from the deceased? How could they be used for good or ill? That feels like an item in a respect. What things do people seek from the deceased? Ooh. Okay. This is going to sound wild. So in the movie Big, there is this fortune teller type character, this box, the Great Zoltran, right? Or Zoltan, gives out fortunes. There's also, like, I saw like a it's called Project Ghostlight. The Vampire the Masquerade also did something similar with like an elder vampire being trapped in one of these machines. So maybe that's the sort of thing. Maybe this burial, actually, it's a trap. It's a warded burial place, but actually you could call upon this person who you don't know the name of. Maybe you never know that. Maybe you don't know the true name of them, because true names have power. We all know that. Maybe it is someone that you could ask for advice through cryptic sort of bits of information. You know, like a magic 8-ball. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's a burial, but it's also a tourist attraction. Incredibly grim, I would say. Sure. First thought, best thought. Let's go with that. So what things do people seek from the deceased? I genuinely think they use it as some sort of cursed magic 8-ball. It feels like one of those ones where you dare the other person. And it's almost like humiliating to this villain that no one remembers the name of, right? This awful person, but has been trapped to constantly... Maybe they were someone like a solicitor or a lawyer giving out bad advice in their living lives, and when they died, maybe they did a deal with like a demon. No, not a demon, a devil, right? That they'd always be successful, but it also put them in a bad thing, and then now they have to continue working through their sentence by giving out their terrible advice, but no one will ever take it. Maybe that's what it is. I like that, like some sort of lawyer, bad lawyer, who did a deal with a devil, and they now have to continue doing it for the rest of time. I mean, I don't know how that benefits the devils per se, but it's a soul thing, isn't it? So, yeah, again, this could be workshopped. I think it still needs a bit of workshopping. Like, how could this be used for good or ill? Guess depending on how you phrase your prompt. Again, it's like speak with dead, right? You got to ask the right question. You can gain a lot of information out of it. If anything, as sad as it is, maybe it's almost like a chat GPT thing as well. Oh, horrible. Maybe, yeah, you could talk to this spirit, this lawyer, encased in this thing, ask some questions, and depending on the answers, they can, like I say, like it's bad advice, but maybe there's a hints of truth in there. You can never really tell. Again, you have to phrase the prompts correctly. Oh, that's horrible. There's definitely something there. Maybe that's what it is. The lawyer, this trapped individual, right, doesn't know any more than what is contained in the box. So it is constantly being trained on people's answers. So almost like one of those cold reading things, but they're gaining more information. But the information is wrong or false in places that you have to keep double checking it. Again, very chat GPT style. Oh, that's horrible. And it's using, every time you use it, it gains more and more information to get better at what it does. So I don't think, like, how could they be used for good or ill? I don't think that's not the players, that's not the people of the town. I think they see it as a gimmick. I think the person that's using it for ill is the devil who made this deal with this lawyer person. Oh, that's horrible. Oh, I love it. I'm so smart. Maybe it's almost like a mixture of like needful things as well. Like saying advice back to people, just basically saying what they need to hear or what they're wanting to hear. Ah, great. What lead do the PCs have on the missing secret? Who else knows? What lead? Oh, well, of course. I've put devils into it. Devils have true names. Oh, it's all about names. Oh, I'm so smart. Okay. I think there must be a ledger somewhere at the courthouse that has names of every, like, public defendant and prosecutor going back years and years and years and years. The individual who was in this case, their name has been scrubbed out, burnt, lost to time. Like, I'm thinking like over 200 years ago, like this important ledger. But I think the other lawyers in the case, the defendants, I assume this person was a prosecutor. I think the other defendant lawyers, that's what they're called? Question mark. Their names haven't been scrubbed. And I bet some of them still live around, or their descendants live around. So you could go and ask them, And I think that you can piece together from that. So you have these connections to who this person originally was, right? They might not remember the name because maybe the name has been scrubbed out from people's memories. But I think that's something, right? You have a connection to this person who was a lawyer because there are other lawyers in the case. Who else knows? Maybe it's just a random wizard. Maybe, yeah, I think just another random wizard. It's someone completely, like maybe it comes up later as someone else, but it has to be one other NPC. I'll say random wizard for now. And their name, sod it, first thought, best name ever is Kirtland Signature. And I appreciate that joke will probably mean something to like 3 people who listen to this podcast. Essentially, I did a show called Sexy Battle Wizards, ages ago now, like 3 or 4 years ago, when I was at MCM, like a live show with myself, Liv Kennedy, with Zach FG, Draconics, and Ed Spence, and everyone else had like really cool, fun names, and I was just there going like, I don't have a name, and I sat down, I looked at my water bottle, and it said Kirtland Signature, and I was like, that's it, that's going to be my name. I think that's the best name I've ever come up with, Kirtland Signature, and I happily give permission to other people to use that as wizard's name, as Kirtland Signature. So yeah, other random wizard in the town knows what's going on or has heard of it. It's called Kirtland Signature. Maybe he's trying to, maybe they are trying to gain some information on the devils that are working this place. Maybe they're trying to do their own bargaining, but they're also working this case and finding out these connections to this Zoltran light box. Finally, how has the existence of this burial ground affected the surrounding communities? Now, this is a great question. I think it's a tourist attraction. It's absolutely a tourist attraction. Like, I just think about, like, other graveyards where people go and see, like, people's graves. Like, who's the one they always go and see in London? Is it Oscar Wilde, I want to say? There's a couple of them who clearly now the names have absolutely escaped me. But I wonder if there is like a memorial place where you would go see famous people who have lived in this place and died. They are interred here. So maybe there's like almost like a hall of various famous people. I'm thinking like proper London Dungeons-esque. Is that what it's called? Tomb of Horrors? No. That's not a hall. Ward of... Oh, it's something in Madame Tussauds, you know. I'm never going to get it. I'm going to have to look this up now. Chamber of Horrors. There you go. Chamber of Horrors. Maybe that's what it is. Chamber of Horrors is based on shocking real crimes which affected real lives. There you go. Someone's done a pop-up like building with all the like a Chamber of Horrors type thing in this tiny graveyard. And maybe there's a whole other folks we could get in. Maybe the devil impact here has affected quite a number of people, and they've all been interred or encaptured in certain different things. So maybe one person is in like an urn, which like gives out like the vase of it. The surface of the vase changes to have inscriptions on it. Oh, you know what it's like? Spoilers for Cuss Strahd. It's like the Amber Temple. There are various like blocks of amber that contain things in it, in various different rooms, chambers-wise, and you can go speak to them and obviously get their gifts. Maybe that's what it is. It's very much an Amber Temple / Chamber of Horrors type style tourist attraction that I'm guessing the community isn't fond of. They don't like it. And maybe that makes sense why we don't know the person's actual name is because it's one of many bad people here. And maybe there are more famous bad people. Yeah. Oh, great. I like that. I think that it brings in money, but people are not happy with the association with this villain. All right, so let's recap this history, the burial place prompt. So everyone knows the exact location of this particular person's burial site. We know all about the deceased's accomplishments. Maybe there's like a big plaque somewhere, and maybe this person's like sent down so many innocent people and was corrupt or something like that. But we don't know the person's name, which we'll come to in a second. We've made it out to be this infamous prosecutor who made a deal with the devil, and unfortunately they were so successful that even after they died, the devil continued to want them, basically kept them alive, trapped in this almost like box type thing where they would have to keep giving out advice, but in such a way that we know that advice is not helpful, that legal advice, not a lawyer, all that sort of thing. to anyone who would listen after death. But it's that sort of thing where people would go up and be like, oh, this is really silly, I can make it talk and whatever. But actually, this person is harvesting your own data to feed back to the devils to see what other bargains they could do, almost ChatGPT style, because it feels so realistic unless you listen to what the advice is and, like, analyse it. Why do people talk so long after the burial? So everyone apparently came from miles around to check out this person being buried to make sure they were actually dead because they were just not a nice person, which I think is really interesting. What they seek from the dead is this gimmick of, like, the bad advice, predictions about their future, almost like a Zoltran machine. And they gain more information. The town folks see it as gimmick, but the devil uses it as a way to train and understand people's desires and almost like, you know, what the trends are in the local population. Now, we would know this person's identity because there's a courthouse where this person clearly worked at as a book of records, and whilst their name has been stripped from the records, the other defendant lawyers are about still, or even, like, you know, but again, the memories are hazy. So there are ways to find out if we need ever to break whatever curse it is to get their true name. There's also a random wizard that also knows about this. It's called Kurtling's Signature. Who is he? We don't know. Doesn't matter right now. And then finally, how has this burial site impacted the local communities? Well, it's now a tourist attraction. It's very much alongside some other bad people of the town. It's very Amber Temple, like I guess it's almost like a freak show. And these people are captured in something like, roll up, come see the lawyer that keeps on giving bad advice after they've died, you know. And people like the money that's coming in, like people from all around the area come and see this terrible attraction, and then therefore stay in this village. Maybe there's even a bloody gift shop. I got bad advice from the devil lawyer, and all I got was, and I got bad advice and this T-shirt, that sort of thing, right? But the townsfolk don't like the association of, like, this place is a horrid place, it's a bad place because all these bad people lived here or called their home here. Yeah. Oh, nice. I'm really fired up now as a result. That's pretty fun. The final prompt for today is a history one again, and we have a performance. 2 reasons this performance was notable and 1 reason it was infamous. So our 6 options are: who is meant to honour or offend, the identity of one or more members of the audience, the past or eventual achievements of the performer, the artistic achievement of the performers, what happened after the performance ended, what happened to a member of the audience. Oh, very good. Okay. I think it was initially notable because it was like the first play of a Shakespeare-type person. I think it was somebody who then went on to write more and more plays or become the artistic director of the theatre that it was performed at. You know, it was that sort of spark. So I think, yeah, the eventual achievements of the performer, I think notably the writer. I think the other thing that makes it notable is the identity of one or more members of the audience. I guess we could keep it simple. I'm very much thinking of Shakespeare in Love, where the Queen turns up at the end and everything is fine, even though there was a bit of about it. I reckon the royal prince of the region saw the play and was like, this is amazing, what great talent. You will be my royal playwright, like poet laureate, so maybe the playwright laureate or something like that. I think, yeah, some sort of royalty involved. Maybe, let's say the royal family went. I don't know if laureate works for playwright. I don't think there's like a royal playwright, is there, laureate? It's just, yeah, a poet laureate is an official poet appointed by a government or institution to compose poems for special occasions promoting poetry and literature. It dates back to, there's a US one. I didn't know that. Interesting. Well, yeah, a similar vibe, but for plays. That's what we're thinking of here. Okay, infamous. What happened to a member of the audience? I think it's because it's festive time, right? It's a festive period. So instantly I'm thinking that this play, this performance, was a panto. Now, I know my US audience, a small few of you are going to be like, what the heck is a panto? Look it up. Google it! I shout. But basically, it's a fairy tale that's sort of put on and dramatised, and there's various tropes, usually the male roles are played by women, the female roles of certain things. The pantomime dame, like an older woman character, is often played by an older man. There's all that sort of dress up. There's always a marriage at the end. There's always some sort of animal, usually a pantomime cow or horse, and it's played for laughs, and it's all silly, and like I said, there's a marriage at the end. Often the modern ones have this year's songs in it, so no doubt this year there's going to be a lot of pantos that are singing K-pop Demon Hunters. So that's one thing. I think it must have been a panto, right? And let me tell you, because I looked at pantos because I'm hoping to go to one this year, everyone is doing Jack and the Beanstalk. So I want to say it is a fairy tale of some sort. Maybe we'll do... Oh, God, I'm trying to think of a grim fairy tale one that would work for this. Maybe... I mean, Sleeping Beauty is always a good one. I don't know. It's got to be some sort of fairy tale. Maybe it has to be like a playwright original, but it's a fairy tale or a folk story of the local region. Maybe it's a little bit Punch and Judy, so it's a bit raunchy in some way, or boldy. Maybe that's what happened, right? There was a volunteer from the audience, someone to come up on stage, take part in the panto, and it was just an ordinary person. Maybe they got crowned something. Like maybe in the story there's this idea of fools and kings of fools and all that sort of thing, and maybe there was like the play itself, the pantomime was making a mockery of the current royal family, and so somebody was made the king of fools. And got very much, I'm thinking again, very much Notre Dame style, like everything's topsy-turvy. And then when it was revealed that the royal family had come to see it, they were like, oh, God, very much like royal variety performance, right? So maybe that's what happened, is that there was a unceremonial crowning of a king of fools to this member of the audience that everyone always remembers. And I bet the person that got crowned was not happy with that, was like, oh, I came up to volunteer and now I've been made fun of and mocked of, and then was like, the king's here, well, I'm all right. And then the king loved it and he's like, what? So yeah, that's what we're thinking. All right, final couple of questions. Where did this performance take place? What physical evidence remains? God, I don't know. Okay, it took place at the theatre. We'll call it the Old Boots Theatre. How about the Old Riding Boots Theatre? There you go. And maybe it's a play that is played every winterval, or something. Definitely that style of panto is always played at every festive period, right? So that's where it took place. It took place at the Old Riding Boots Theatre, which I think is very close to an Archibald's, by the way. I've got to get that connection in somewhere. What physical evidence remains? Well, the theatre's still there. I've done this before. There are portraits, like painted portraits, along the walls as you're getting into the theatre that show previous iterations of those plays or the play. And maybe there's one of the very first play. There's one of the King of Fools being painted, like a portrait of that. Nice. I like that a lot. What is something people still disagree about concerning this performance? Oh, it has to be like the ending. Either the ending or the beginning. Let's say the opening number. They disagree about the opening number and what the song was. I think, very much in my head, it's almost like when you have different runs of Broadway shows and that get changed depending on which touring company's doing it. I wonder if the first time they did it, they had like an overture / opening song very much similar to Bonjour from Beauty and the Beast. But then they changed it to be more of a, like maybe they combined it. Basically, there was a change of song, and people argue which one they prefer. There's almost like the director's cut and the original cut is what I'm thinking. So it literally differs on this one opening song, and each of the cuts has this different song in it. Like they're not the same song. Isn't in like the director's cut or anything like yeah. So it's either one or the other. So we either have this opening overture bonjouring song, or it is maybe a narrator style which leads into a torch song by the protagonist. Penultimate question: Which group condemns this performance? Which group lauds it? Oh God. I think everyone loves it. Maybe that's who condemns it? Who condemns it? Condemns. I think government officials, right? Anyone that supports the royal family is probably like, oh, this is not okay to make fun of our monarchs, even though it is endorsed by the monarch. But I guess the original playwright and maybe that group of people that perform the play, they are safe. They have been pardoned, someone could say. But any other people doing it, they get a big slap on the wrist, maybe some heavy fines or something like that when they perform it, because it's not a sanctioned performance. Who lauds it? Pretty much anyone. I think it's that sort of thing where people are like, this is the best thing ever, because it's expression of freedom, silliness. I can imagine quite a few people who are performing in these plays also work at Archibald's as well. So I think anyone who is maybe of lower class, working class, loves it. It's a guilty pleasure. And finally we have, which PC knows the most about this performance? Where did they learn it? Oh, well, it sounds like to me that somebody might have been in it from that vibe. So maybe this is like the story hook that you'd get someone in for. Where did they learn it? First thought, best thought, they saw it at a theatre/improv festival where lots of different groups are given like seminal text, and they have like then 24 hours to put on said play. And they found out about this and was like, this is incredible. Like, what a weird, unique concept. And although it's slightly out of date, stuff like that, they thought it was amazing. So I think it's going to be like a bard type person, a theatre type person, or even just like, I feel like anyone that's been either wants to go to like these festivals like, as a maybe part of a performing troupe thing, or flip side of this is maybe a paladin or fighter has been sent there to like loosen up a little bit. We need you to be more improv-y. You need to be like more flexible. So like, team building. I can even imagine like a group of rogues from the Thieves Guild going like, let's do a group bonding exercise. Let's go to this theatre festival and we'll sign up and it'll be great. It's proper work bonding activities. It's an away day activity. There you go. Great. All right. So let's talk about it. Again, we don't have a name for this performance, but again, it's a panto, so it's fine. So 2 notable things about this performance and then 1 infamous thing. So the notable thing was the eventual achievements of the performer. We said the writer, who would then go on to be like the Royal Playwright Laureate, okay? And has written many, many more, maybe more favourable plays to the royal family after this one. The other thing is the notable identities of one or more members of the audience. We said the royal family, particularly the king of the local region. Infamously, we had what happened to a member of the audience. Again, because it's kind of a panto type feeling. It was like a folk story of the local area, but also making like subtle meta commentary on the ruling of the current family. So one person from the audience was brought up and they were made the king of fools in this big crowning scene, and they were really cross about it. They thought it was going to be a bit of fun, and they were made like humiliated as well. So maybe there's a little bit of like emotional baggage there, but also maybe there's somebody who really holds it as a slight against them. And maybe it's been like 10 years, but they still think about it because everyone always remembers how funny that was. Where did this performance take place, and what physical evidence remains? I said it's the local theatre of the town. I said the old Riding Boots Theatre. And the evidence we have is painted portraits of various shows along the corridor as we go in, including that King of Fools crowning scene. Maybe there's even the old posters that, we have them everywhere, the old theatre posters of different things. Because I was thinking of the photographs, that's what I was thinking. But actually, there's pamphlets, like almost printing press style. But actually, maybe it's more artistic than that, because maybe the majority of the audience cannot read or write. So there was very limited in what they have, but it was very notable for these images. There's a disagreement about something concerning the performance, and we said what the best run or best version of the show was, because in one version, maybe the original version, we had this opening number, which was very much like the opening scene of Beauty and the Beast, where everyone's bonjouring each other, versus a later version of it, which is more streamlined, which had more of a narrator style with a torch song at the beginning. And people will talk about which one they prefer as and which one they think works the best. Who condemns this performance? Well, basically anyone who supports the king and the royal family, basically anyone that's sucking up to the royal family. I've said government officials and supporters of the royal family, and there's always a little letter to the local newspaper or town crier when there's people decrying like the unsanctioned performances of it. But who lords it? Basically everyone else. All this guilty pleasure. It's all a bit of fun in these dark times. And what's fun about it is that the actors who are in it also probably work at Archibald's and do the performances there. Now, who knows most about this performance? Well, it's either going to be, naturally, the characters who are most likely to be performers. So bards seem to be most likely, maybe the odd wizard or two, perhaps. But also, I wanted to open it up to the idea of, like, what if you've been a part before you became an adventurer? Maybe you were a group that had a team bond in some way. So maybe you were a group of fighters or a group of rogues from a thieves guild, maybe even a paladin or two that had to be like, we need to bond together and loosen up. And this was one of the more wild ways to do so. This 24-hour Scratch Theatre Festival. Again, I'm thinking of 48 hours film festival is what I'm thinking. But yeah, basically one of the works they got was this. They performed it. I was like, God, what a weird, awful, but also great thing. And so that's what they go, oh, this is where that performance is from. All right, there you go. Those are the 3 prompts for this episode. So 1, Peoples, so the Schemer, which we, working titles, Cyrodiil. I do highly recommend checking out Side Character Quest, by the way. And then we have a Burial and a Performance. Those are really fun. I like these ones a lot better than I think this one's I think I've got into it now. I like this session a lot more. The Battlefield one was fine, and the Union was fine. I really like Archibald's. I like places, and I clearly like one-off events as well. So there you go. But thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back next week with another probably world-building episode. And I very much appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts, by the way, in the Discord. We've got Discord, or you can send them on email, which is the dmsbookclub@gmail.com. We'd love to hear more about you. And equally, I think I said this last time, but if not, I'll say it now. We'll be doing more GM's Book Club in the future. So if you've got any suggestions for books we should have a look at, the TTRPG books that we should have a look at, do let us know. We're looking for games that maybe are unusual. So not necessarily your big, Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder, not the big ones technically. Equally, like indie darlings. Again, we'll find a but anything that you're like, this is different. And when I say suggesting it, please suggest them, but also give us a reason why you like them. It's all very good to say like, I like it because I like it. It's like, yeah, I get that, but also it's like, why should we look at this book compared to any other books? So yeah, if you've got suggestions, I would love you to send them to me via email or put them in the Discord chat. I think it's RPG Recommendations is the chat that has them all in just now. Anyway, thank you, friends, for listening to yet another episode. As I said, we'll be back next week. And in the meantime, please stay safe. Enjoy the festive period if one can. No, December is a void. And we will see you on the flip side.